Hey hens! How we all diddly doing? How's everybody holding up? I have recently started a series and then, you know what, 2020 has been a fucking year. Has it not? It has. It's been a year and I'm not alone in it being a shit year. It's been a shit year for everybody. And a lot of my schedule has gone out the window for multiple reasons. It just seems to be shit after shit after shit for everybody. Thank you all for bearing with me during this turbulent time. I started a series that's basically called Everything Wrong with The Sims 4, and I have already done a video on skin tones, and thankfully it's not just because I've done a video on skin tones, it's a lot of other people done it before me, a lot of people have done it after me, and a lot of it was also community pressure. So well done to us all, because now we have got updated skin tones coming soon and they actually look quite good. Better late than never, but still disappointed that it took this amount of effort to get change. But the entire point of like these kind of videos for me when I'm talking about everything wrong with The Sims 4 is not just to shit on The Sims 4's parade, because shocked to say she's actually surprising me lately. She's actually making me want to play with her. What a concept. Usually like my default game to go to is The Sims 3, but lately I've been wanting to play The Sims 4, so that's good. But the entire point of these videos is to say perhaps shortcomings, we'll use that word, shortcomings of the game, and providing constructive criticism for what could be better and like how we can get around this problem, you know what I mean? Because I don't just want to shit on The Sims for the sake of shitting on The Sims, because I fucking love The Sims. So I want to say how it could perhaps be better. Oh, it's 11/11. Isn't that like Psychic Summit? I don't know. Lord, I have seen what you have done for others.
Can't do it. I'm really sorry, everyone.
Anyway, I have a full-on list on my phone right now. Let's talk about The Sims 4. You best to believe I was sat in my mum's living room because I've temporarily moved home again. Hee, don't like being alone. And I was sat in the settee making an entire list of things. And today's video is going to be more general, like little things that didn't necessarily deserve their own video. I still might make a video of some of these things, but this is like more just general things, because I want to do a video on kids and call that, we need to call it childline because you're ignoring the kids. And I also want to do a video on law and be like, where is the law? So today it's just going to be little kind of things. So the first one that we've got up is neighbourhoods. I did mention this briefly. I think it might have been in my Sims 3 is the best game of all time video. Not like me to put big statements like that out there. I said I'm not too sure how I actually prefer neighbourhoods in The Sims. Whether I prefer the Sims 4 version of neighbourhoods where you can freely go to any world, or the Sims 3 version of neighbourhoods and the Sims 2 version of neighbourhoods. And well, the Sims 1 only had one neighbourhood basically. Debatable, but that's a different topic for a different time. I have come to the conclusion that I actually prefer the Sims 3 version of neighbourhoods, because although the novelty, let me just reiterate that one, of being able to go to any world at any time really did help sell The Sims 4 for me. The long-term playability of that, I'm not the biggest fan, so I prefer having a large world that's locked than lots of small worlds. There is my reasons for this. My reasons for this are, first and foremost, people from different worlds turn up in that world, and for me, I talk about suspension of disbelief a lot, and if you don't know what that is, that basically means that you kind of believe what you're seeing and like you're involved in it. For example, like if you're watching a film and then something breaks the fourth wall, then it's broke your suspension of disbelief and you kind of realise that, oh, you're actually watching a film. And Sims turning up at random towns that they don't belong in breaks the suspension of disbelief for me. For example, if I was going to see Eliza Pancakes turn up in Solani, I'd be like,
people have been spotted in the water.
Bitch, you'd burn. Do you know what I mean? She's a redhead. She can't be in there. And Declan, my editor, is also a redhead. So Declan, are you a redhead? I don't know. But you know what, Declan? I'm looking out for your best interests here. So Declan, don't go to Solani. And if you do go to Solani, take sunscreen, Dal. That breaks suspension of disbelief for me, because it's also kind of just fucking annoying. Like it really makes all the world seem more open, and it makes you feel like you got more choice, but also it really ruins the experience for me to not feel like each world is special in itself, because anyone can just turn up at any world. However, this is not just me raining on the parade. I am also, like I said, I'm going to offer fixes to all of these, because I'm a helpful girl, you know. Yes, I will shit on your parade, but I'll also help clean it up afterwards. So I don't actually mind like this traveling in between worlds. I think it's a really cool concept, but I think the issue arises when you've got multiple worlds like this, and then because they're all open as well, this limits the amount of people that you can have in your world. Like we have the sim threshold in The Sims 4, but I would prefer it if we had worlds that were kind of similar in nature. For example, Strangerville and Oasis Springs, they could be kind of near each other because they're both like quite deserty. Little things like that, they could all be placed together. Forgotten Hollow, Glimmerbrook, they could be placed together. They could easily travel into each other. I can't quite get my words out because I've had 2 coffees already this morning and I'm giving up for another one. So I think that would be a good way to kind of bridge the kind of issue that we're having here, because it is a bit of an issue. Like, I would rather have a closed off world and be able to do more in the world that I'm living in than have a big massive open world where I can go anywhere. Because it's like, I've got the full Virgin Media package on my telly because I need it because I've got the fastest internet to stream. Because I've got so much on the telly, I can never find anything to watch. But when I was at university and I only had the fucking aerial that I had to balance on Tupperware to be able to get a signal, I always found something. And that's an analogy, my darlings, because if I can go to any world, I don't want to. Also, I think that it would be kind of good if we could travel to all the worlds if there was some kind of time, but I don't know how that'd work. If it was just a bit more closed off, for example, if I lived in Strangerville and I wanted to go to Windenburg, 2 kind of different climates, I would prefer Windenburg to be a bit more closed off. So if I went to Windenburg, I wouldn't be able to just pull somebody else with me. It'd kind of treat Windenburg as a holiday in that kind of sense, because otherwise it just feels weird, it all being so open, and I don't think I like it. I think The Sims 3 was a bit extreme, where if you wanted to go to another town, you have to completely forget all of your relatives that you're ever leaving behind, and you've also had no friends or anything of the sort. But I think that them being open but not as easily accessible is good. Best way for me to describe this is the open world Brook Heights mod. That mod, and you can get on a plane and travel to a different world, and it takes time. That is the best way to do it, I think. That's my opinion. Well, I thought that'd take me 2 minutes to talk about, and I'm 10 minutes into the recording. On the same kind of topic, I've got loading screens. Now, I can't remember who posted this on Twitter, but I seen someone post on Twitter that they had a mod that changed the loading screen to like an image of the world. I think that's a very simple thing that makes the game feel more alive, because The Sims 4 went down a more minimalist route, and I just don't think that necessarily works in terms of creating excitement, you know what I mean? Like, The Sims 3 loading screens were a pain in the ass, an absolute big fat pain in the ass. I'm not going to romanticise them. They were a struggle. Did give you enough time to make a cup of tea though. Not all bad. Silver linings. It had the image of the world that you were playing in the background, and it had like interactable things that you could interact with, obviously, because they're interactable. Where The Sims 4 is just a plumb bob that really goes too fast, honestly. Does anybody else's plumb bob go too fast? Because mine's always like, I'm a bottom in a dungeon under. So I think that even just having an image of the world that you're travelling to in the background would really make you more excited to actually travel and play the game. Next up stems from the same kind of issue. This is also in terms of minimalism, and it's customizability. Because like I said, The Sims 4 really went forward with a minimalist route, and this did work in some aspects. Like, the UI in itself when you're playing the game is very sleek and clean, and it doesn't take up much space, and I actually prefer The Sims 4 UI because you can kind of get everything that you need without it taking up as much space as previous games. But in terms of other like minimalist things, we just lose a lot of customization. Someone posted on Twitter, and I retweeted it, about like the customizability of your gameplay even in the options of The Sims 3, and that is what I am big fat greatly missing, honey. I'm greatly missing. I would love to see a return of her. It just kind of makes me feel like I've been placed in a box that is not customizable, and I feel like this is really important, and I feel like we should really be given the option to customize our games, because not all Sims players are made equal. For example, and this freaks some people out, but you've seen my videos, so I don't know why people are shocked. When I play The Sims for fun, it's mainly in fast mode all the time, apart from in the morning when I will slow things down so I can make someone make breakfast for the full family, I'm a ding dong, you know. But apart from that, fast mode. I might pause to get a picture, but fast. And The Sims 4 only has short, medium and long lifespan, where The Sims 3 you could really get in there and customise how many days each age category was alive, and you can't do that in The Sims 4, and I hate it, because babies, they definitely deserve rights, and they definitely deserve to not be an object, but I also can't fucking stand them in the game because all they do is cry. And when I used to do LPs, people just used to tell me that all I do is listen to babies cry. And like, true, I would still like to be able to set their age. Another thing that breaks suspension of disbelief for me is just clicking on a baby and clicking age up. Like, that's great that I can do that, but I don't want to have to do that. I just want the default age to be able to be set by me. Another one is pet autonomy, in the same kind of thing, because isn't it just written in the code that it's just like an on-off switch, and there's a very easy mod to enable pet autonomy. And I get that they wanted to take it back to be more realistic because you can't control your pets, but also just give me the option, do you know what I mean? And then another example of this is, and this honestly, this could deserve its own entire video. I don't know if I'll ever get round to doing this, but I could do this. I could do this and compare them all, but I might do actually, you never know, but we'll touch on it here. We'll just touch base. So the neighbourhoods in The Sims 4, originally when the base game came out, the neighbourhoods, I don't know how long people have been watching me, how long they know I've been playing The Sims, since the year 2000 by the way, but I didn't move on to The Sims 4 until 2017 because it just had no appeal to me. Because originally, the neighbourhoods, The Sims 1 had a flat neighbourhood, it was 2D. The Sims 2 was 3D. The Sims 3 took that even more 3D. And then The Sims 4 was more 2D than The Sims 1. Is there a 1D? One definition. Well, that was The Sims 4 because she didn't even have any colour, God bless her. She had the range of the default skin tones in The Sims 4. I laugh, but this greatly displeases me. And then we did get the update so you can actually see your neighbourhoods in colour now. But the fact that we can't move around the neighbourhoods makes everything feel static to me. And I quite like everything. I like it being alive, you know what I mean? Like, I would make Frankenstein given the opportunity because I just like seeing things full of life, and you can't do that in The Sims 4. You can move around the world when you're actually in a lot, but when you're just looking over the lots, it's like, here's a picture, and it's a pretty picture, don't get me wrong. The artists of the Sims game, I can't fault the things that you make. I think they're visually stunning, but a thing that I do touch base on a lot is these things are visually stunning, but what do they serve me as a player? And the answer that I usually have back to that is not much. So I think in The Sims 5, because I don't think we'll ever get this update in The Sims 4, I think in The Sims 5, it is paramount for me to have a neighbourhood that, in neighbourhood view, I can actually move around. Oh, I click weird, so I can't do that. I was going to... And that doesn't... I can't click like that. Can I just... I'll point to myself because it's what I want. The next 2 points are in the same kind of caliber as that, but not being able to freely place slots everywhere, and I feel like this has a lot to do with the aesthetic design of The Sims 4 as well, because of the aesthetics of it, because it's a 2D map and you're basically seeing an image. You can't just place a lot anywhere because then that would ruin, you'd have to like recreate the image or whatever. Where a 3D world just solves that issue. Because in The Sims 2 we could place lots anywhere, or if it was meeting a road. In The Sims 3 you could just place lots anywhere. I think The Sims 3 took it a bit too far because I used to, you know, I used to take liberties with lot placements in The Sims 3, and then all my kids had missed school because it was too far to fucking walk. So that could definitely be improved in The Sims 3. I just feel like not having any customization with where you place your lots is not the right way to go, especially when other games have a lot of customizability. Previous Sims games have a lot of customizability as well, arguably more so than The Sims 4, so it definitely can be done. I have a conspiracy theory that The Sims 4 is just a social experiment to see what we'd actually miss. That's my theory. But like I said, the aesthetics of the world, beautiful, stunning. I feel like we need to meet aesthetics of The Sims 4 with the playability of The Sims 3, because The Sims 3 is kind of missing some aesthetics and The Sims 4 is kind of missing playability. If we just mash these together, put them into The Sims 5, jobs are good and we'll all be happy. This is a minor one, which is a good thing that it's a minor one, because, excuse the pyjamas, because all of these videos are like minor things, but something that boils my piss and gets me so fucking angry when I'm playing this game. Angry is not the right word. Gets me a little pissed off. Well, it does. No, it boils my piss. It boils my piss. When you load into a lot, the entire world around that is kind of classed as the same lot. So, for example, Mount Komorebi, you can go and hike, and that's kind of all classed as the same lot that you're on. If you invite a sim over and they're somewhere in the fucking woods, they're still classed as being on your lot. So if you're in your house and then you're like, you come round and they're like, well, bitch, I'm already here, but where? Because we can't click them, and we have to go on a fucking hike to find them, and I've got asthma, can't be doing that, thank you. These boots are made for walking, but that's not what they're gonna do. I just wish that a very simple remedy to this, perhaps a call over, perhaps, you know, registering them as two separate things, like the lot and then the area surrounding the lot. This is a very unpopular opinion, I think, because I posted this on Twitter before and everyone was like, no. I miss rabbit holes. And you might be like, Plumbella is a fucking hypocrite. The lies that come out of her mouth, because I did bitch about Journey Batu for pretty much just being an entire rabbit hole. The thing is, I think that Rabbit holes, I think they work better in a semi-open world or open world. And I get why people don't like them. I 100% get it, because there's even been rabbit holes that I haven't liked. I think a healthy mix of both is what would be best going forward, because, for example, dine out. How do I say this respectfully? I remember my quite mental, anxious breakdown about the middle of the year. We can all remember very well. I'm still getting over it now. Doing lots better though, thank you. Well, me then, when I couldn't eat and I had to move home the first time, I was still more stable than The Sims 4 Dine Out. If you've got a supercomputer and lots of patience, it doesn't work that bad. But The Sims 4's selling point is playability and like the ability to run on lower end machines. But we're getting to the point now with The Sims 4 where it's like it doesn't even run that well on lower end machines at all. And even my editing laptop's a gaming laptop, and that doesn't run The Sims 4 that well. But you needed a supercomputer to play The Sims 3, and I get that they didn't want people to have a supercomputer to play The Sims 4. They want to appeal to a wider audience and everything. The wider audience wants more from the game as well. So like, anyway, rabbit holes. Sorry, I went on a fucking detour then, didn't I? You know what? I've got thoughts and feelings, baby girl, and I need to get them out. I think that Dine Out is an okay pack if you've got the computer and everything to run it. But if you don't, it's a fucking ball ache. Because for me, I like taking my family out in The Sims, not in real life because Corona, for food and stuff. For example, a big thing I used to do in The Sims 3 is if my Sims got an A or if my Sims graduated with high grades or whatever, then we'd all go out to the diner, and we'd all have a meal in there. They'd just go in and the hunger would go up, and I'd believe it, and like it served its purpose, you know what I mean? Where The Sims 4 Dine Out can actually be kind of stressful and not that fun to play. It's kind of good for a one-off thing every once in a while. In terms of playability for a family, it's not that great. I think that things like that, like it's the monotonous of everyday life that appeals to me with The Sims, which is a weird thing. You wouldn't think that you'd want monotony in a game, but you do. Like, I really want to be able to, like The Sims 3 bookstore, I want to be able to go in there and buy some books. The grocery store, buying clothes in The Sims 2, those kind of monotonous things, I fucking loved. I loved it when The Sims ran out of groceries. I loved that. But that's like a big selling point of the older Sims games. Because The Sims 3, she didn't really have some of the same monotonous things that The Sims 2 did, but it's the monotony that sells it for me, honeys. It's the monotony. And obviously there's different things that make each Sims game great. The monotony is kind of something that we've been missing for a long time. And I think rabbit holes give you that without, it being too labour intensive. Snowy Escape was a great example of a missed opportunity for rabbit holes. Because we've got the town centre that's supposed to be really lively, but there's nothing you can do there where rabbit holes would have been the perfect fix to that, because there is places that you can go and dine, there's bars and everything that you can go into, there's the snowy like mountain things that you can go down, they're all interactable, and that's great. This would have been a good place to incorporate rabbit holes. For example, you could go into a shop and buy some fashion. Rabbit holes are done wrong when it's like Journey to Batu, where there's literally nothing that you can actually interact with. Also, everything being completely interactable also isn't the best option in my opinion. I think a healthy mix of both is actually what we should have going forward. The last point that I'm going to make, game packs. In theory, I like her. Practically, she needs to get gone. Because the thing is, I feel like game packs are so small in the size of them that they're too highly concentrated on one thing. Which, a pack being highly concentrated doesn't sound like a bad thing until you kind of get to the long-term playability of it. Because a lot of game packs, you can't really play past playing for that exclusive thing in the game pack, where expansion packs tend to impact the rest of the gameplay that you play in, like Seasons or The Sims 3 Generations. Like, outside of the context of Generations, The Sims 3 Generations you play with a lot, where game packs are too heavily focused in on one thing, and they also try and achieve too much, which ends up in them feeling a little bit shallow. Like vampires, they are the best version of vampires that The Sims has ever seen. I will hold my hands up and say that. But the world is lackluster and you don't want to play in it because there's literally nothing going on. Same with spellcasters. Spellcasters in and of themselves, they are quite fleshed out, but the worlds are so small where if we'd have had vampires and Realm of Magic together and we'd have been able to have a bigger world where you can actually feel like you're a part of it rather than just a set with 4 houses placed on it, that would have been much better. So I think game packs, I think they need to get gone, loves. I think they need to get gone. But yeah, that is every single thing that I have to say in this video. Obviously, there's a lot of things that I haven't touched base on because they deserve a video in and of themselves. But yeah, again, this video isn't meant to hate on The Sims 4. This is meant to provide constructive criticism. Well, I'm a game changer right now, so I don't know if you classify me as this or anything, but like, I kind of view it as my job to relay the community's wants and wishes back to the gurus, and I hope I've done that today, but that's just my opinions anyway. So yes, I don't know if my headphones are out of shot. This is going to be a series as well, and I do have a lot of talking videos as well, which I will link in the end screen if you want to go watch them. But yes, please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye beach.